Hello, Serious Survivor here, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about how this vaccine will be working, how it works in your body, and also about the vaccination cards that will be given out when people get their vaccine. As of this morning, I started receiving messages from YouTube, and YouTube is taking action today against all videos that claim there is election fraud. I just wanted to touch base on that. If a lot of your YouTubers that you normally watch are suddenly banned or their channels are suddenly shut down, then this is the reason why. YouTube is going to be striking videos that claim there was any type of election fraud. So just keep that in mind with my channel also. I've already had one video taken down and I expect some more to follow. But in this video, I'm going to read verbatim, word for word from the CDC, the FDA, and prevention.com. I'll leave links to a lot of documents in the description below, but this is basically an informational video. I just want to present information that has been made available in the last few hours or few days for us to evaluate what's going on with the vaccine and also with the vaccination cards that are to be handed out along with the vaccine. So let's get started. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices held an emergency meeting on December 1st and officially confirmed that healthcare workers and elderly residents of long-term facilities will be the first to receive the vaccine once one is authorized. While things are moving quickly, experts predict that most people won't have access to the vaccine until late spring, both of which will require 2 doses. So it's only natural to have questions about how the vaccine works and what kind of potential side effects it could cause. Here's everything we know so far. Pending EUAs from the FDA, which is our emergency authorizations, there will be 2 different vaccines available for COVID-19 by the end of the year. They both contain similar ingredients. They're just packaged differently, says infectious disease expert Amesh Adalya, a senior scholar at the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security. Both vaccines use messenger RNA, mRNA, a new type of vaccine that encodes a part of the spike protein gene into your body. This is part of the virus responsible for its unique crown-like structure. The vaccine does not inject inactive virus into your body, but rather uses pieces of genetic material from SARS-CoV-2. And this is how it works. The mRNA gives your cells instructions to develop a protein that's similar to the novel coronavirus's spike protein. This is according to the CDC. Your immune system will recognize that new protein as a foreign invader. It mounts an immune response to fight off what it interprets as an infection, and you would develop antibodies specific to SARS-CoV-2. Your body eliminates the protein and the mRNA, but those antibodies stick around to help protect from future infections. It's important to note that the RNA does not alter your DNA per the CDC. Public health officials have confirmed that people will be given a COVID-19 vaccination record card after they receive their first dose of the coronavirus vaccine. CNN reports that. The documentation will help officials keep track of who has received the shot and help people follow through with the second dose of their vaccination schedule. Kelly Moore, Associate Director of the Immunization Action Coalition, told CNN those previous statements. Everyone will be issued a written card that they can put in their wallet that will tell them what they had and when their next dose is due, Moore explained. Let's do the simple, easy thing first. Everybody's going to get that. Everyone's going to get that vaccination card. Broad statement there. Clinics that offer the vaccination will also log patient information in their state immunization registries to track which shot was given, as 2 vaccine candidates from pharmaceutical giants Pfizer and Moderna are currently pending emergency use authorization from the FDA. This will make it easier for doctors and healthcare providers to find that information if a patient was unsure of their vaccination details, Moore says. The card will be part of an overall vaccination kit, as we see here, which will also include a needle and syringe, alcohol wipes, and a face mask. So a complete kit. And for the record, these kits, the pictures that I'm using right here, are from the Department of Defense. They're not from a medical corporation. They're not from Pfizer. They're not from Moderna. They're not even from the FDA or CDC. These are from the Department of Defense. The cards were also mentioned in a press briefing with members of the federal government's Operation Warp Speed. Quote, "We've set up everything in a draconian process where when we sent out the ancillary kits, which have needles and syringes, we've included paper cards to be filled out and given to the individuals, reminding them of their next vaccine due date." And that statement was made by Army General Gustav Perna, Warp Speed's chief operating officer. He added that people will be asked to take a photo of their vaccination cards or to keep them in their wallet at all times. So what is a vaccination card? And here's an example of it. Another photo from the Department of Defense here. This isn't a concept unique to COVID-19. Vaccination cards are already distributed when people are vaccinated against certain infectious diseases, including smallpox and yellow fever. The WHO has an international certificate of vaccination that can be carried by a person who has been vaccinated. Quote, "I carry a yellow fever card around in my wallet," says infectious disease expert Amesh Adalia, senior scholar at the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security. Quote, "There was a time when pediatricians were giving out vaccination cards to parents after routine childhood vaccines, but so many parents lost them and didn't keep up with them that people gave that up about 25 years ago," says William Schaefer, MD, an infectious disease specialist and professor at the Vanderbilt University School of Medicine. Now, for certain diseases, you have to have a vaccination certificate or card if you're going to certain countries. A COVID vaccination card will feature a person's first and last name, birth date, the vaccine's name and maker, and the dates of when the first and second dose were received according to a sample image from the U.S. Department of Defense. Both vaccines, pending approval, will require 2 doses. So how will these cards be used? That's the big question. Back in April, Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, said that there were talks of using vaccination cards or certificates for the COVID-19 vaccine. I'm going to stop right there. Back in April, statements were being made that we would be using vaccination cards or certificates for the COVID-19 vaccine. I'm just curious here how, when the pandemic first really occurred, or when we saw the lockdowns begin, how the discussion of vaccination cards or certificates actually got into the conversation unless they were already expecting a vaccine. It only makes sense to assume that a vaccine was already expected at that point in time to even discuss people having to carry cards or certificates. Take out of that what you can. Back to it. "You know, that's possible," he said on CNN's New Day show at the time. "It's one of those things that we talk about when we want to make sure that we know who the vulnerable people are and not." It's unclear at this point how COVID-19 vaccine cards will be used, but experts have confirmed that their main purpose is to simply make sure people follow through with the second dose of the vaccine. Quote, "It will be very important for all Americans who get the Moderna or the Pfizer vaccine to have their first vaccine dose and then come back either 3 or 4 weeks later to get their second vaccine dose to complete the immunization schedule," said Moncef Slaoui, MD, Warp Speed's chief scientific advisor. Moore told CNN that vaccine distribution sites will likely ask you for your cell phone number, so you can also receive a text message to remind you to get your next dose. Richard Watkins, MD, an infectious disease physician and professor of internal medicine at the Northeast Ohio Medical University, says the cards might be especially useful for workers that interact with the public and vulnerable populations frequently, like healthcare providers, restaurant servers, and teachers. And officials have not yet confirmed that the cards will be used for travel or for entrance into large events. And that's a topic that has been very vague as to what the cards will actually be used for, what they will enable me to do or not to do if I do not have one of these cards. And I think that's the big question on a lot of people's minds, is if you don't have one of these cards, what will you be restricted from? And those details are not being made public yet. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to predict exactly what these cards will all be used for. But according to what they're saying here, These are going to be similar to the paper cards that your kids got when they got their first shots at the doctor, and you got the little paper immunization cards. That's what is being made or being presented as here. There is a lot of information out there that backs this up, and a lot of information out there that disputes this. And it's really hard to find the exact, facts, especially in the situations that we're in, like right now. But having to carry a card with me everywhere I go is something that it makes me think back to the quote from the Army general that I just quoted earlier, that this is a draconian measure. And he was saying that in a positive way, that that's what it's going to take to make everybody take this virus. Well, I'm going to try to stay away from my opinion on this. I think anyone watching the channel pretty much knows my opinion. And let me know yours in the comments below. Let me know what you've heard, anything new, anything I left out. And remember, these were exact verbatim from articles from the CDC, the FDA, and prevention.com, along with CNN. So I have used articles that have been fact-checked, if you will, and have passed all the fact checks. You can view the videos, you can read the articles, all that, and there's no restrictions on them. So it's curious to see how much this video of mine that I put out gets fact checked and possibly pulled, even though I read directly from their supposedly correct facts. All right. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope it helps out. Put a lot of thought into this, because this is something that's going to impact the rest of your life, your kids' lives, their kids' lives. This is something that's it's not going away. We know that. And it's looking like it's only going to get more and more draconian as it goes. So I hope the video helps. Thanks a lot for watching. God bless. And for now, Serious Survivor out.